What's going on, everybody? I've been talking with this great sage, and I've been trying to figure out how does damage appear? How do those attack stats appear when you inspect heroes? And great sage, he's been around for a while, especially this level 201, 7,000 power base. He's good. We've seen a thing or two, you know. So here's the formula that he taught me about. This is kind of the approximate damage that your heroes are gonna face per second, and it depends on a bunch of different parameters. You will see these in the game. Of course, you have the damage percentage, you have base hero attack, attack percentage boost, flat attack boost, crit, and then attack speed things. And here's the formula. You could study it a little bit more detail. I'll just say what each section is if you follow along. You have 1 plus D, that's the damage percentage. That gets multiplied on the end, so damage is a very good attack modifier, if you will. And then you have the next section there. This section really creates the displayed attack. This is what you see when you inspect your hero. Say you're creating a team for offense, you expect your hero. That's how this is calculated, and I'll show you an exact example of that in a little bit. And then the crit section is next. R is your crit rate, and C is the crit damage percentage, and then you have attack speed. So, you know, a lot goes into it. We're going to look at it in an overview. I'll show you some of this in action here today, but the first thing to understand is the base attack stat. So this is a little bit confusing. Let's say you get a Skull Mage aid, get it up to 15 of 60, or excuse me, 15 of 20 skill, which I believe gives 40% attack. I was confused at first because my number didn't go up by 40%. It only went up by a little bit, and that's because the attack percentage, if you look in that formula, gets multiplied by the base attack stat, which is your hero attack before any evolution, before any glory, before any equipment, aids, etc. So that number, you can calculate it. It's the number that is displayed. It's most easy to see on heroes with none of that, obviously, and I'll show you an example, of course, as I mentioned. So the next thing to look at is the attack percentage. This thing you can really start ramping up there. Go ahead and pause this again to see all the ways that you can go ahead and level it up. But you see here the aid level really is going to be one of the best ways. Here's a picture of a level 190 Skull Mage who's been leveled to 20 of 20. So this player is getting 153% attack from just this one aid. That is huge. Definitely a great idea to go ahead and invest in heroes like Skull Mage and Chiron, Hydrosaur. Great aids for that. And then the next stat we want to look at is the flat attack rate. This one is just a simple number that gets added on. Here's an example of a +3 Thunderblade. The equipment, it adds roughly almost 5,000. It's a little bit different per equipment. Evolution adds a flat amount as well, some talents. You can also get a temporary increase from the tome. And these numbers I'm putting up here, these are the maximum values. Just keep that in mind. So if you inspect your blade, it's not going to say 4,600 attack or whatever. You know, if you have a Dark Rider aid, it might not be 1,800, of course, if you don't have a max. So these are the maximum values, just so you can get an idea of how high these numbers can actually go. We're going to be taking a look here at a, let's see, what do we got going on next? We got a calculation. Great. So here is a Berserker. He is at level 120. He has no evolution, no weapons, no aids. This is just his base attack value. So here's an example of one way to see it, of course. So I want to go ahead and show you if I give him 2 hero aids, what his attack turns out to be. Here's his base attack, 3630. And let's say I give him Landslide in slot 2, which doesn't add any based upon the skill, but it gives 103%. And then let's say I put a Chiron or Chiron in spot 3. However you pronounce that, let us know in the video. Maybe you know better than me. But essentially, add up those percentages, you get 192%. So you go ahead and add that together, 3630 times 1 plus 1.92, and you get 10059, which is exactly what's displayed. So that's how you get the actual displayed amount, if you were wondering about how to get that. And then if you had, of course, a blade tossed on there, you can go ahead and add a flat amount, or whatever you got. So next, here's a huge modifier, the damage modifier. As you saw, it goes on at the end, and that is one of the most powerful additions to boosting your hero that you can possibly get. And so equipment is a big one. Tome, hammer, and axe. Axe actually goes up to 25%. This one is almost maxed out. Enchanting level 3, 25%. Blessed weapons, 8% each. Of course, Saphric's aid, Arcane Caster can actually get up to 48% on the guild boss, I believe. And then you have temporary increases as well. So this is a sweet stat. that you can go ahead and play around with. And I want to go ahead and show you how this would work in theory or in practice. So here's a Great Sage. Here's my Great Sage. I don't have any talents on him really. I have a Dragon Heart on him right now doing some tanking stuff, but the displayed attack is 13860. So let's talk about how much damage he does with his Rage skill. His skill description at 20 of 20 reads 12,150 plus 300% attack. So you go ahead and multiply, 3 essentially times the displayed attack, and you get 53,730, which is exactly what I see when I use a skill in game. Now let's say you go ahead and toss it in Ambrosia. So how is that going to change if you toss it in Ambrosia? Well, you can see here, you take the initial damage and you include the damage buffs at the end, like Ambrosia's temporary damage buff. So it's going to be your initial calculated damage times the damage percentage modifier, which ended up getting you 69,849, which again is exactly what you see in game. So this kind of gives you an idea of how you might expect to see damage go down and be calculated. I want to look at crit here a little bit. You can go ahead and pause this. You can see an example here is an Ambrosia maxed out on the level 3 talent, which gives an extra 15% plus a Ginny aid, which is 6%. And so that is just crazy. There's 2 crits in a row for 500,000 in Hero Trials. Whatever that was brought to Pangoliate or killed instantly. So that's a pretty sweet stat to go ahead and stack up there. And then the crit damage one. This is a Ginny. You might not be able to see it. You need to look closely. Yes, there are 3 hits for 190,944, but if you look at that crit, that is 882,402. That player was just playing around with seeing how high he'd get. I bet you he could break 1,000,000 if he really focused and got all the buffs going at once. But Ginny is a monster. He gets this temporary boost of 50% crit damage, add it to the already 50% base value, give him a tome, you get 55%. He is going to be hitting hard. So that's pretty sweet. The last really attack stat we're going to look at today is the attack speed. And so there's a lot of information here. One of the best heroes for that is the Blockhead. So go ahead and pause it. Let's look at it in action though. Another great way to boost your attack speed is by allied winds, and you gotta max them. If you're going to use any spells, go ahead and take a look at Ambrosia. This is the best thing to max at first in your relic. Look how fast she's attacking. So she already has a Blockhead aid, and now she's attacking like crazy. So let's go ahead and add 2. And she's going to attack really fast, but the problem is things she's attacking, that's why there's a gap, because she's switching targets. And so this allied winds really work best, and you're going to get the best output, of course, if you go ahead and attack a stationary target. But this is pretty much the gist of this attack speed thing. Go ahead and, let us know what you think, and that is all of the attack stats explained. Good luck to you, and let us know if you have any more questions.